reading recently about the situation in Australia with our Indigenous culture and all of the invasion issues, which I don't know if you guys know much about because there's so many colonies of England. But, there's loads and loads of unresolved issues in Australia to do with the Indigenous culture here. And there's this kind of issue with our current Prime Minister because he won't say sorry. And I was actually thinking I'd really like to hear the Queen of England say sorry to the Indigenous culture of Australia.
Probably going to be deported free of cost from Great Britain after this, as well as New Zealand. When you look around Britain, there are quite a few peculiar things, but if you actually ask an average Britisher, is there something as British culture? And they'll go, what? British culture? There isn't anything as British culture. But anyways, it's only, I think, for the outsiders to figure out what's British culture.
Yes, I forgot they were a monarchy and it's so important for them. The British people, I think one of the words that describes their personality as a society would be efficiency and working behind the Queen Mother. She's already gone, so let's go for the other queen. Not me, it will be another queen. So I think they have a nice society, very efficient, extremely powerful in the way they control their views over the world, ex-colonies and its influences over other countries.
My dad is a Johnson, so I've got a Scottish heritage. My mum is a Keenan, so I have an Irish heritage, and I guess I'm the product. I'm an Aussie that came out of both of those. Travelled a little bit in England, and as much as I might slag off against the Poms, I had a terrific experience.
Great Britain, it's like an empirical name for the country. The British Isles is like the geographical terminology for the set of islands.
UK is like UK Limited. Did you get me?
Scones. Would you like to join us for the annual washing of the Queen's corgis? Scones. Tally-ho. Pearls. They're so Scottish.
Stuffy, classist, and well-spoken. Although, yes, sunshine, your neck doesn't sound so well-spoken.
Your nephew and nieces have funny accents. What do they sound like?
Oh, they sound very well-spoken, don't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we're Scottish.
Oh.
Scottish descent. Never eaten any haggis, but I can't think of a single solitary thing to say about the British and Britishness. I don't think you can keep your Queen. I think it's time we moved on. Viva the Republic!
I'm particularly annoyed by England refusing to accept our advertising campaign, Where the Bloody Hell Are You? As if that's offensive. From the country that brought you Benny Hill, Little Britain, and the clothing chain FC UK. Well, I am outstanding.
The very notion of being British confuses me. The English, the Welsh don't like the English, the Scottish don't like the English, the Northern Ireland don't particularly like anyone. I think British, it's an outdated term. Be gone with it. Britishness is all very well for the British, but it doesn't do well for me.
I guess a traditional thing that Australians have about Britons is that they have a sort of a formal, stiffer upper lip class system. But I know this is of something of the past generations, and I'm sure younger society is far more relaxed about that. But always happy to have a drink with you and catch you around and have a good time. And let's not be worried too much about our borders or where we come from, because we're really citizens of the world. That's it.
I think one of the things that the Empire's really given me quite strongly is the fact that you can fuck your cousins and feel really proud about that, and keeping the bloodline pure and a little bit of aristocratic decadence. You know, drinking gin at 10 in the morning with biscuits, it's a really beautiful thing. Keeping the bloodlines pure.
I've got some real issues with the way that John Howard constructs Australian identity as British identity, and the idea that we keep talking about us and them as though an us in Australia doesn't include them, and by any standards, us in a multicultural nation always includes them. So this idea that Australian identity is British identity is enormously problematic. I think we need to talk here about offering permission from an Australian government that is an Anglo government that has an inheritance from a British colonialist system, those are the people who are giving permission or denying permission to other people to come into this country is ridiculous. And we need to be able to ask permission from the Indigenous peoples of this culture, of this country, of this land, whether we can stay before we even talk about what it means to have British culture on this land. And, you know, you can go right now down to the Stolen Wealth camp and ask permission and be welcomed in a smoke ceremony. And I think that that's something we need to talk about, and we never talk about that. My heritage is not Anglo, and I'm part of a continued invasion, and I've finally, having engaged with people down at the camp, come to terms with that idea that I've got permission now, not because I was born here, not because I had immigration treaties or anything like that, but because some people who were here and have been here for 40,000 years invited me in.